Hey y'all. Yep, just waiting for a few people to come on. And let's see.
Biden, she's now out on the road with her new coalition because Trump has his coalition. Everyone knows he's got RFK, he's got Tulsi, he's got Elon, Kamala has Cheney. That's right. She has Liz Cheney, who lost her Wyoming congressional race by 40 points.
Sorry about
she
that.
is now a Democrat, apparently, running
I'm trying to figure out what's playing here.
One of their little events.
Whew. Yeah. Hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
A little trouble. A little trouble getting getting on the live this morning. I'm sorry. Hey, hey Dar. Hey Stephanie. So I have good news. On the I just figured it out, but it was too late to try to get anybody involved. But I did figure out how to share a live. I can invite other people. So what I'll do is I'll go through the steps, and then I'll send out like invitations with the steps involved to see if it's something anyone wants to participate in. So sorry about the 12 o'clock. What I do is I scheduled the live, and then I couldn't figure out how to get back into it on my phone. It was the craziest thing. It just wasn't available for me to participate. So I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to delete it. So how is everyone? Everyone's okay? Weather's okay for everyone? No big storms or hurricanes or tornadoes in the Midwest? Anything like that? I'm just looking at the... Can you hear me okay? I'm making a decoupage sign. This is Stephanie. That's a cute chicken and rooster cocking their heads. It's by Roy Cycle. Oh, yeah. I've seen that decoupage paper before, and she has some really, really interesting... She used to have a channel on YouTube that I used to watch, but I haven't seen her post anything in forever. I don't know whether it's just my YouTube that doesn't pick it up, or does anybody else watch the girl that does Roy Cycles? Michigan is good, and you hear me good. Thank you, Dar. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, the last decoupage paper that I used, it was called Mums, and it is it's a bells and whistle by Dixie Belle. And the pattern is beautiful, but the paper is super, super fragile. And it was really difficult, tricky to get it on and get it looking right. And my plan for that design, I had to alter it because of the fragility of that decoupage paper. Let me tell you what I was going to do. I was going to do that one pattern in the back that you saw that I was successful with. But then there was another smaller shelf above with a backing on it. And I was going to cut the paper in strips, and I was going to do the black and the red in a striped pattern. And I thought that would be really pretty, but when I started handling the paper, I just didn't think that, that I would be able to actually do that. So I had to give that up at that point. What else did I find? Excuse me, the gold foil transfer, and that's a redesign with Prima by Kasha, and it was beautiful, very easy to put on. But what I should have done, if you touched it with any kind of sandpaper or whatever you're going to go over the edges with around your transfer. Usually I'll go over the edges of the transfer with a little bit of pressure, you know, with not really a sandpaper, but you know, a soft sponge or something like that. Well, the minute you hit it, all those sparkles started to fly everywhere. So what I ended up with was a starry night pattern on the front of the secretary. So that was kind of interesting. I like it. I wouldn't have done that on purpose, though. It was totally accidental. I wanted to say that in the video, but the video was so long, I didn't want to bore people with that information. But hey, it's good information, so I thought I would put it here in a live and just tell you about that. What else? Usually I would have taken off the back, the whole back. It's just easier, right? If you're going to do any kind of patterning on the back of an open furniture piece, whether it's shelving or what have you, if it's going to be seen, just easier to take it apart. But that particular secretary, that was part of the construction. So if I took it apart, the sides would have been wobbly and it may have loosened everything that was really, really solid as far as the piece. Yeah, the backing, usually I do, Stephanie, but I thought if I took that back off, the whole stability of the of the secretary, it would topple. So that's why I didn't. And another thing that I did was I got an external microphone, especially for my editing. So now what I can do is I can do a voiceover. I hope. I haven't actually tried it yet, but my goal was to be able to do a proper voiceover on my editing, because what I have to do now is I actually have to record another piece in my phone, and then when I stack my editing pieces, I have to put it underneath whatever is showing on the face so that you can hear my voiceover, because for some reason I can't get the internal microphone on my laptop that I use. I can't get that to record. It records, but it's very, very faint, and I've tried everything. I've tried doing all the audio adjusting and making sure there's no problems with the software inside, and I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's me. I just can't. I couldn't figure that out, so I got like a $15 microphone, and it sits on a little stand, and I should be able to. I probably could have used it today. I don't know, but I didn't want to screw anything else up. One screw up a day is enough on YouTube. So yeah, I'll practice with that, and I'll let you know how that goes. So anyway, anybody have anything that they had planned to talk about or want to talk about? I tell people that technology repels me, Stephanie. Yeah. I'm definitely, I love technology. Figuring those things out takes hours. It just does. It just does. It's a constant learning curve. That's what I find. I do love learning new things, but sometimes there's, you know, as far as making mistakes like that, I don't want to make 100 mistakes. I'd rather make one mistake at a time. And so that's why I usually only figure out one problem at a time with the technology. Stephanie said, I'm waiting for my delivery of the IOD tapers mold, the Santa sleigh mold, and a few other goodies. Oh, that's going to be fun, huh? So you're going to make them for gifts, or are you going to decorate your house with them? Or Stephanie said, I got the link. I think it's called Red Velvet Transfers. Oh, goodness. And the gold foil transfers with the music and everything. That should be really beautiful. And you know, I'm not sure about the IOD transfers, but if you do invest in those redesign with Prima Kasha transfers, what I would suggest that you do is to actually put them down as well as you can, and then spray them with either, you know, a shellac or an acrylic, I would spray them with with an acrylic spray. I wouldn't touch them with any liquid. I would just spray it, leave it, and let it dry before I do anything else to it. Yeah, because as soon as you touch it, it's going to spread that sparkly material everywhere in your paint. And if you don't want that, it's going to ruin your piece. Yeah. So, yeah, I can't wait to see. I hope you'll share it, Stephanie. Yeah, we have to think of a way to share that. Usually I just tell people to send me emails, and I can show pictures of it and, you know, refer it back to you so that people can see what you're doing. Stephanie said Ginger Chick said her gold foil rub on left gold specks where it shouldn't have been. Yeah, that's why I don't know. It's tricky to use. Maybe it's worse with that black paint. Another thing with that black paint. Okay, thank you, Stephanie. I know I've received emails from you before, and I appreciate that. Yeah, and I can show them if you'd like, you know. Yeah, you let me know when you send me the email whether you want me to share it or not. But, yeah, that black paint. I love it. I love the Kasha furniture paint. I think it has a beautiful texture. It dries beautifully. It's pretty opaque. The ones that I've used, 2 coats covers everything so far. I don't have every single paint, but her white paint that I used, I think it was called Khaleesi, that covered fantastically for a white paint. It was incredible. And it just dries with a glow. It's absolutely beautiful. The black is so black. It's the blackest paint I've ever used, because when I was trying to do my coatings and working with it, I had to literally get an external light and shine the light everywhere I was working to see where the paint was going. It was so black. Your sight literally just goes right into it and disappears. It's the blackest black I've ever used. It absolutely absorbed every bit of light in the room. Very, very difficult to use. And if you touch it before you have a finish on it, it's gonna, it doesn't nick. It's got a nice solid surface. But what it does do is it leaves a little finger mark, and it doesn't just wipe off. So you have to use it very carefully. Get your coatings on that you want. And then again, what I would do, if possible, if the piece wasn't too huge of a piece, I would opt to use a spray over it, whether that's shellac or acrylic or, you know, whatever kind of spray, poly, if you like polyurethane, something, lacquer, anything. I would immediately spray it so that the minute I touched it, it didn't mark it. Stephanie, I was just going to say that would be the time for me to get out my new sprayer. Yes. Yeah, I don't know if I would practice with my sprayer on on that black paint, but you're a better woman than I am. I don't have the confidence. Hey, you can always add more paint over it. It's not that big of a deal. It just means that there'll be extra work for you. I had to repaint over. I went to change, you know, to place the piece so that I could do my staging and photos, and I had to paint over it at that point. And I knew that was going to happen. So what I had to do was I had to get it staged and then do another coat of paint and let it dry in staging. And then I used a clear wax over it because I thought that would be the best, the most forgiving finish on that black paint. And so another reason I use the wax is because I could put my hands on it. It would feel a little slippery because the wax takes a long time to dry. But what I can do is I could move the piece if I wanted to, and then I could go over it with a soft cloth again and that did seem to work. So I think it'll be okay. But wax, you know, wax, I like wax finishes, but you may not think that that's a tough enough finish on the paint. So yeah, I would plan for a lot of time. The paint doesn't take a long time to dry, but I would plan, I would put that piece where I was going to spray it to do my last coat. I'll tell you that. With the black paint, not with the other colors that I've used so far, just the black. There's no other, there doesn't appear to be any other color in it. You know how black, sometimes it'll be a little blue. It can even have a red tint to it. You can find it to be a little bit purple, even green. It can even pull green. It depends on the different pigments that are in that paint to make the black paint. This paint, wow, it's totally opaque. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Let's see, did I miss any questions? Yeah. Black is difficult. It is. I think it's the most difficult one, and dark navy would be second. Sometimes after top coat, you need some clear wax. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a big wax person anyway. I love wax. I almost use wax on everything, not 100%, but yeah, I use wax a lot. I would say I use wax 98% of the time after I'm done with all my finishes. Yeah. Yeah, especially with the wood. Yeah, and I loved that wood. The wood was in such terrible condition, but I liked it. What did you think? Did you like the way that wood came out? Do you think it came out well enough? Oh, another thing I couldn't show in the video, it was too long, was placing those hinges. I should just do hinges one day now. I'm no expert on hinges. But I can show what I know. I don't know if it would help you or not. So, you know how if it's obviously a two-part hinge, it says, I would like that. I have a cabinet that still doesn't have its drawers on because I can't figure out the hinges. Yeah, well, I don't know if I can make you figure out those fancy dual movement hinges. I'm just talking about a basic hinge. I can do a video on a basic hinge, and I think that's what I will do. That'll be fun. As a matter of fact, instead of doing this week's project was going to be doing a bow tie repair. So you know how right now I have a little table that has a bottom shelf, and the bottom shelf snapped apart, and it's just a straight piece of wood. It's about 3/4 of an inch in depth, and I need to put those pieces of wood together. So, I mean, I could use dowels, right? I could drill holes for dowels, but I thought, oh, it'd be fun to do bow ties. So that's when you cut out, literally, it's like a bow tie. It's thinner in the middle, and then it goes out to the end, and it looks like a little bow tie that you would put, you know, on a bunny rabbit or whatever. But you have to cut out that same shape between the two pieces. So one half of the wood has one shape of a bow tie, and then you put the other shape here, and you have to carve it out and then put them together, and then you do your piece that you've made on another raw piece of wood, and you insert it as a carving in there, and then you have to shave it down. And you know, when they get to be the same level, you can see the two bow ties, and that's what holds the piece together. And you know, it can literally never come apart because of the way it's shaped. If you tried to pull it apart, it would just break apart. Yeah, unlike a dowel that you could pull apart, potentially. So I don't know. I think that's interesting. I think that's what I will do. I won't get the piece finished because the piece is painted, and I don't know if I have proper a good enough stripper to get all this old paint off. It's an old piece. It has the you know, the legs that are all turned. They're kind of fancy legs, so there's turnings all the way down, almost like a Jenny Lind kind of a pattern in the turning. So you know it's going to be a lot to get that paint off of there. So I'm not sure if I can do the entire table as a video, but what I will do is I can at least take off the shelf and strip the shelf, and then I can show my shelf repair, and I would just focus on that. And then maybe the week after I'll show how the entire table goes back together if I can get it all stripped down and everything. What does that sound like to you? Does that sound like a good idea? So, are there any questions that you guys had this week? Or do you have anything you want to tell us? Something you did that was really cool? Something you want to share that's not in your video? Hey, I watched something. It doesn't seem like I can talk based on my videos, but I actually can. Yes, you should see my repair on current piece. It doesn't show in your video for this week. I can't wait to see what you did. Yeah. I love watching other things. And I don't know, do you guys watch Ginger Chick Rehab? It sounds like Stephanie does, yeah. Dar, hope to get it by Sunday. Oh, that's cool. I won't be jonesing at 7 o'clock then. Yeah, Ginger Chick Rehab. And she should, sorry, she is in Michigan, Dar. Do you know Ginger Chick Rehab's channel? Because I'll tell you what I saw her do this morning that I thought was let's see. Yep. So what she did this morning was so cool. And I said, oh my goodness, I'm definitely going to use this. And those that use molds, and I thought of you, Dar, because you use a lot of molds. So she did her silicone resin molds. I'm saying silicone. It's probably not silicone. I'm sorry. She used the resin that a lot of people use, and I forget the name of it. I might think, yeah, she is great. She's great. She's fun. She's super nice, very natural on a video. No stress at all. She's just great to watch. And she does all kinds of things. The polyurethane resin, I guess that's what it is. It turns white. It's the one that Brandy uses all the time. It's kind of expensive. I don't use that because I haven't reached that level yet. But what she did was she made her molds and she removed them and everything, and they're still like a little bit pliable before they set up totally. And she applied them, and what she did was amazing casting resin. Is that what it is? Amazing casting resin? Quick cast that cures in 10 minutes. That's cool. I buy whatever's cheap at the moment. And yeah, I just get what's cheap. Amazing casting resin. So she did use that, and then when they were dry enough to use, she actually took Bondo and she mixed up the Bondo the way you would if you were going to fix wood, and then she applied that to the back of the mold, and she used that as her glue. Now, I think that is just amazing. What she did was she used that, so it ends up being a little, you can imagine it's like a frosting. So she put down her molds, She is. She's fantastic. She put down the molds, and then she took one of those dental tools and she cleaned off, after pressing them in safely. She took a dental tool and then she just scraped off around there. She said, oh, it's much neater than using the glue. And she gets like a nice smooth surface, and that mold will never pop off. It won't. So I said, oh my goodness, what a great. I found a brand called Let's Resin off Amazon, larger quantity, cheaper price. That's good to remember. Let's Resin. And I'm going to put that in my little side note over here. I'm going to, just so that I can remember that. Thank you, Dar. Thanks for sharing that. Good to know, because I'm okay with what I use because I don't use a lot of molds, but it's a vicious circle. She says, Dar says, works as good as amazing resin. And you would know because you make more molds than anyone that I know personally. So that's very good to know. I don't even have a lot of molds. It's something I kind of have to build up to. Stephanie said, I think I would rather use a resin that takes longer to cure. I always run out of time. Right? Yeah. Yeah. I know. And then, if you run out of time, then you run the risk of, for instance, when I did my coffee table, I forget what I used for resin, but it wasn't the amazing casting resin. It was a resin that I got on Amazon. It did turn out well, and it had a long open time, so I could actually, I could get the top as smooth as possible. But you get better at doing that stuff, as far as smoothing it out. But yeah, I had to end up sanding down my coffee table a little bit because of the, it dried and it wasn't completely, it was level, but it had little waves in it, little variations that just needed to be sanded. So yeah, I did have to do that. Yeah. So I just can't wait to make molds on another piece so I can use the Bondo. I just think that's such a great idea. Yep. What else is going on? How you feeling, Dar? We all have our health issues we're dealing with. On that note, how are you feeling, Stephanie? You sound really good, and I'm happy to hear. I'm very happy that you're feeling good. 12 hours sleep. Oh, you must have really needed that. Oh boy, poor Dar. And Stephanie says, I'm feeling really well. The pain medication is helping me while I wait for my surgery date. Yeah, what could be worse than like counting the minutes in pain until you get your resolution? So that's good to hear. We're all thankful for that. Thankful for our health. We have to take what we get. I only got 1 hour sleep last night. Oh man, that's awful. Yeah, I actually can relate to that. Yeah. Hopefully you'll catch up tonight and be able to take it easy today. Yeah. Yeah, losing sleep. And you can't really think, just can't think. Yeah. Morphine doesn't even take my pain away. Yeah, morphine isn't that great of a pain reliever. I'd rather take a Tylenol than morphine. Thank goodness I don't have anything important to do today. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yes, although, have you gone actually to a physical therapist that treats nerve pain? You probably have because you have so much experience with it. And it's a different kind of nerve pain. It's a different kind of nerve pain. But I don't know if, I'm just throwing that out there because, we used to do pain relief in physical therapy. This was a long, long time ago. There are methods that they use, but you have to find a physical therapist who's a movement, um, like a kinesiological physical therapy method. Because some physical therapy is, you know, kind of, it's good. I shouldn't say it with like a bad look on my face. Some physical therapy is just aimed at strictly comfort for the moment, but physical therapy that's based on being able to, Lyrica. That's a good pain drug. I've never tried it, and I don't really know. I mean, I know it works for a lot of people, though. Stephanie said I need to take Teddy out, so I have to go for now. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for dropping in. Kiss Teddy for us. Give us a hug. Dar said I had the Mackenzie method. That's new on me, Dar. I don't know that one. Yep. I'm sure there is a lot more knowledge now than back in my day, which was, in the 90s and 2000s. Cymbalta. Yep. 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 And a lot, yeah. Really? 20 years ago? I must have flunked that. You'll have to explain that more. Or should I just go and look it up? Because that never leaves you. The interest in things like that never leaves you after having studied it long ago. I'm just, I have Lyme-related arthritis, so I battle pain kind of constantly, and so, but I won't not be active because that's my method. Excuse me. I believe being active helps you. Even if it made you sore, it'll help you mentally. So, and being less anxious mentally or less depressed mentally is just as important, because I think depression and anxiety can exacerbate your pain. You can find it, I'm sure. She went special for that method. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to write that down too so that I can look it up. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, we all have our trials and tribulations, and some are worse than others. Nice to have that puppy. I've actually been thinking about getting another doggy. I'd love to have a kitty. Yeah. So how are we going to link up? We can be like the five on Fox. We can be much better than them. Yeah. So if you, what do you use? Do you use like cameras to record, or do you use your cell phone? Or use your cell? So when I go to my cell phone, I do too. When I go to my cell phone to set it up to do a live, um, it has a few options in there. And one of the options is invite others. Now, I don't know what it looks like. Um, as far as how YouTube actually sets it up, I don't know whether it's top, bottom, side, side, or if you're able to choose, because I've never done it before. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm actually going to search for how to, invite others to a call. And they'll probably tell me the options from there instead of doing it like I usually do, which is by trial and error. I don't want to do trial and error on that because I want it to be like a nice experience for you and me. So if I research it, what I'll do is I'll make a list of things and I'll send it to you, and you can look at your cell phone and you can play with it. What you can actually do, I've discovered, is you can set it to private so that um, it's not actually going to be seen by others on YouTube. So you don't have this silly live video out there in YouTube land. It'll just be um, set up for private, and then you can delete it if you want to after playing with it. So that's what I've been doing, is kind of playing with it like that. And then what we can do is we can either go ad lib. I'm fine with that. If you want to have a particular subject, or if you just want to ad lib and just see what comes into your mind, that's fine with me. I don't really do lots of scripting. I just feel like it comes out more naturally when you're not scripted. But we could have like potential subjects. I think that's good. I do that. I sit there and during the week, if I think of a subject that comes to mind, I'll put it down in my notes on my cell phone so that I can remind myself when I'm going live that I might want to talk about that if nobody had a question, because I think that's handy. So we could each do something like that. Or if you feel more comfortable having a basic plan or more of a script, I'm okay with that. Yeah. And then like Lavon and I, when we did our videos for like the advertisement for our challenge that we did, we did discuss a lot of scripting. So, and it still ended up to be pretty natural and funny. It was hilarious. There were more outtakes that we could use that made it pretty funny. So there's always that too. But ours was going to be recorded. We weren't doing anything live. So I want everybody to feel comfortable. Well, when we get it, we can go public. Then when more drop in, they can leave comments on what they may want to see. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it doesn't have to be next week. It can be whenever you want. And if Wednesday at noon is not a good time for you, because you've been here consistently, you and Stephanie have been here consistently. If if you have a better time that works for you, we could change it to that. So it doesn't really matter to me at all. I just chose that because I thought it was midweek, in the middle of the day. But if it could be at night, if 7 o'clock at night's better for you, or yeah, really whatever you want. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'll do is I'll watch some instructional videos on how to do it. And then I'll send you what I learned, and I'll send you the link to the video that I watched. That way you can. Good for me, I'm home all of the time. Yeah, me too. I mean, if you work at home and I'm formally retired as a nurse, so um, yeah, no more working in a hospital for me, that's for sure. I had a hard time following the rules back when I did it. Never mind now, I could never follow the hospital rules. Yeah. I'm a difficult subject. So you want to plan on that for next week, Dar, or did you have anything else you wanted to share or talk about, or? I'm looking from my cell phone to the computer so I can see comments. Oh, let me say that there is a program, and it's you probably have to pay for it. I'm not sure it's something that I could afford, but it's called StreamYard, and it's specifically for YouTube vloggers. And they use StreamYard, and it sets up their live for them. They can do intros and all that stuff. Let's try it. I'm game. All in the seeking of knowledge. Yay! Yeah, absolutely. Something else that's fun, right? And may as well try it. And yeah. So yeah. In the meantime, if you learn anything, send me a message, a text message, and that way I can study it myself. And when I find something, I'll send you a text message. And we'll both work on it for this week. And if there's a particular thing you want to talk about, let's do that. Or we can just leave it up to chance. Doesn't matter to me either way. Shall we end it there and call it a day? I want to send you some. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, did you get your other part of your prize? Did you get it yet? There were 2 parts to it. 2 little pots of paint and a decoupage paper. Not yet? It's Wednesday. You think the silly, and it was the slightest thing to ship. I don't know why it wouldn't have gotten to you yet. And I have to look it up. I have tracking in my cell phone. I have to look up the tracking number and see what the heck it is. I think you're going to love it. And I think you're going to look at it and say, oh, wow, it's me. Because I sent you. Because it just reminded me, I'm like, oh my God, this just looks just like Dar. I'm sorry. Well, after I hang up, I'm going to, after I hang up, after I end the stream, I'm going to look up the tracking number. Oh, you want to send me some paper? Well, I'll send you my address in a text message. And that's awesome. I'd love to try Made by Marley. Ooh, that would be so fun. So fun. I love it. Love it, love it. That's awesome, Dar. That's really sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you. Personal text. I know. I haven't tried it, and I've been wanting to try it for a long time. I was going to order it once, but it was like by the time you get done shipping it, it's just wicked expensive. You know. I usually do redesign with Prima because I get it through. I think it's called Mint by Michelle, her store online. And yeah, I can order a lot of things through her. She has a lot more than redesign with Prima. And it ships fast. It's not ridiculous shipping. It's just the basic, basic shipping. It doesn't take too awful long. And she's not marking things up in an off way. So good to see the difference in papers. Oh yeah, I think you're gonna like this paper. I really do. And what I did, let me tell you, what I did was I ordered it through Zazzle, and it's because I heard I follow uh, Elegant. I even forget her first name. She just had a baby. She hasn't been on in a while. But she's a beautiful artist too. She does like the um, hand painted on part of what she does. She does a beautiful, beautiful job. And she's so sweet. Taryn is her first name, Taryn. And the part of the name in the YouTube site is Elegance or Elegant. And if I can think of the rest of the name, I'll say it or I'll post it somewhere. Anyway, she was talking about, she has her own papers on Zazzle. And then she was telling that they had a huge sale. So they did have a huge sale. I can't remember how cheap it was, but it might have been close to like really inexpensive to buy 3 or 4 of a particular kind of paper. And so I went in and I got a lot of the like Art Nouveau, Art Deco, William Morris patterns and things like that. They're hard to use in that they're very heavy papers. So the mill is very thick. And I find that those papery papers, you have to really handle them carefully externally. They go down nicely, but the minute you put something on top of them, they can absorb liquid too much. So, but I have more practice in using them now. So, and I feel a little bit more confident using them. And just based on like whatever my substrate is and how that paper goes down, I feel confident. Either I'll choose a spray, acrylic spray at first before I put decoupage gel over it, or I just use a liquid clear coat over it. And I find that the Mod Podge doesn't go over as well. I don't know why. I don't know why. It could be because it takes longer to dry. That's what I'm thinking. It probably has too much open time so that when you put it says I always let it completely dry before I add on top. Yeah, absolutely. That's the best thing to do. Yeah. Yeah, that helps a lot. Because then when you put your coating on, it's just if it has too much open time, it's going to reabsorb into that paper, and that's when you'll see it'll almost start to lift in places. Not lift completely off, but it just, I don't know, kind of pops up and makes little bumps, and I don't like the way it dries. I use Mod Podge a lot on my smalls, and the Mod Podge will go perfectly over a like a redesigned rice paper, because their rice paper is totally porous. So it's very, very easy to use. I think it's mistake proof. I think anyone can use it. But yes, let it dry completely. And yeah, unless it's a tiny scrap piece. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yep. It's tricky to use. I think we make it look easy, but it's not. It's not. I had, when I was putting that paper on the back of my secretary the other day, I had that on a fast speed, but literally, like, it probably took me, I think it took me a good 10 minutes to get that paper down. Just rubbing over it and over it and over it, just trying to press it down in and remove the wrinkles. It was tricky. It was definitely tricky. I can't wait to try it, and we'll look up to see where the other part of the gift is, and I want to know what you think of it when you open it up. I wonder, has Crystal received hers yet? I know you were each getting a prize. I haven't heard her mention it, so the mail might be just really slow. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, she's busy with kids back to school and all that. So, okay. What do you think? We have our assignments for the week. And like I said, I'll text you as soon as I can get to my phone and check the tracking number on that mail. And I'll send you that, and I will send you my address. All right, Dar. Thank you so, so much. You're always so supportive, and I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll put the link. I don't have many subscribers, but I'll put the link to your site down below in the video. And share your channel. So thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. That's right. Old nurses helping old nurses. Yeah. We can't stop helping. That's what it is. Love you.